Hello. Hello.
We cannot hear you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Everyone joining should be muted, please, until you are called upon to speak. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon from Nigeria. To our distinguished participants, welcome. It's my pleasure to welcome
Yeah,
you
nice to
today
meet you.
to today's first Thursday session.
Hi, baby. Please unmute. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon to our distinguished participants. It is my pleasure to welcome you today to today's first Thursday session themed Enhancing Value Addition in Agri-Food Products, a Path to Quality Nutrition and Food Security in Africa. My name is Ebere Oko, the Membership Coordinator at African Food Changemakers, where we are committed to empowering agripreneurs and driving transformative change across Africa's agri-food sector. Before we proceed, for our French participants, here is a step-by-step language interpretation guide. Step 1, log into the meeting on Zoom and mute your audio as you enter. Step 2, click the interpretation button, fourth bottom right, the fourth icon towards the right, your right, and select your preferred language. You'll see an interpretation button, the fourth button towards from your right. Select and choose your preferred language, English or French. You will hear the translated audio and the original audio at a lower volume to better understand the tone and intonation of the original speaker. If you wish not to hear the original speaker, just click mute original audio to hear only the French interpreter. You must be joined by computer audio for you to enjoy this this aspect of the program. You must be joined by computer audio or download the Zoom app on mobile to participate, as this feature is unavailable to telephone dialing users. So either you're using your laptop, or if you're using your phone, that means you need to have a Zoom app on your phone to be able to access the interpretation, the French interpretation. Quickly moving on so that we don't waste much of your time, I'll run through the agenda for today's session. Welcome, introduction, and a very brief housekeeping for everybody here, just so that we are on the same page. And then pulse check, we'll just like to know how you're doing. And then we'll have the connecting with AFC. We'll tell you about, you will learn about African Food Changemakers. You'll learn about the African Food Changemakers community and the opportunities on the African Food Changemakers Hub. And then we'll move to the essence of our gathering today, the speaker session. We'll introduce the speaker to you. We'll have the presentation and a 15 minutes question and answer. If you've been called upon to ask your questions, please make sure you keep your questions very brief. and then we'll proceed with next steps and closing. So for housekeeping, on engagement, please use the expressions button such as raise your hand, thumbs up, wave to contribute or call for attention. Please don't unmute until you've been asked to unmute. If you need to speak, click on the expression buttons with your, hands up. You see raise your hand, click on that raise your hands will be up. We'll see you and call you to speak. If you keep your audio unmuted, it will cause a distraction. Participation, all attendees will be able to participate in all relevant phases of the event. Kindly use the chat to contribute and send your questions. If you have questions, comments, or you want to connect, do so in the chat room. When you're allowed to speak during the question and answer, kindly respect the group's time and keep your comments brief and precise. So make sure you know the question you're about to ask, go straight to the point, ask the question. And if it has been asked before, you may not need to go over it again, just so that we can manage time. And then kindly refrain from posting anything in the chat that is unrelated to the event. Some people will come here and start posting links. Try as much as possible. Do not post any link that has nothing to do with AFC or the topic that we'll be discussing today. And when we all, abide by these rules, I'm very, very sure that we'll have an interesting and engaging session this afternoon. Like we always do, and like I always say, every gathering like this is an opportunity to network. Every gathering like this is an opportunity for you to find new clients, new customers, new suppliers, collaborators, partners. So go to the chat box now, tell us your name, your country, the kind of business you're into, and let us connect. So we just have about 90 seconds to do that. So go to the chat box now, tell us your name, what you do, your country, where you're joining us from. Let us meet you. There are a lot of people on this call that would want to meet you. And while you are doing that, let us also know how you're feeling. How are you feeling today? Are you happy? Are you just there? Are you just okay? Are you excited? Are you making money? Put any emoji that describes how you feel at the moment in the chat box. Let me go on to search if I would find anybody feeling the way I'm feeling today. Hello, Asukwo Samuel, welcome. Welcome. Tochukwu David from Rivers State, welcome. Rahab from Kenya, welcome. Welcome. Precious from Malawi, welcome. Naziru, welcome. Please, it's important that you include the country that you're joining us from. Pius for Tanzania, welcome. Let us know how you're feeling. Drop your emoji. Welcome. Okay. Obia Ijeoma is excited to be here. She's dancing. You're welcome. You're welcome. Rabi from Nigeria, you're welcome. Francesca from Kenya, you're welcome. Great. Innocent from Nigeria with the Nigerian emoji. You are welcome. So go ahead to connect. While we go on to connect, you don't need to stop. Right now, we want to just introduce you to African Food Changemakers. African Food Changemakers is today's event as always, But this video that we'll play for you right now is just going to give you an introduction, what we do at African Food Changemakers. So sit tight, watch the video, and learn more about us. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ndidio Kongfonwuneli, and I spent most of my adult life trying to change narratives about Africa.
What struck me when I moved to the US was that the face of Africa was a hungry child. I would go to dinner parties And people would say, oh, my mom used to say, finish your dinner. There's starving children in Biafra or Ethiopia or Eritrea. See, pictures of these starving children in infomercials, in train stations, and it just made me so angry because that was not the face of Africa that I had grown to recognize in my own backyard.
The African food narrative is often misconstrued. What if we told you a different story? What if we showed you how Africa feeds itself and how Africa can feed the world? Meet the African Food Changemakers, a community of entrepreneurs changing the narrative about food in Africa. Watch how they do this through their small and medium-sized enterprises, which we believe are the lifeblood of the food ecosystem in Africa. But then, faced with the devastating impacts of climate change, global and local risks and shocks, and macro and microeconomic challenges, these entrepreneurs struggle to survive. Through training, funding opportunities, exposure, trade linkages, and a vibrant community fostering peer-to-peer collaborations, we're empowering entrepreneurs for global reach and recognition. Our programs and resources support climate resilience and adaptation, business development and entrepreneurship, gender equitable agri-food systems, international trade capacity building, and other key areas. With significant impact made since 2022, we are growing our community one agripreneur at a time and spreading our reach across the continent.
Hi, my name is Ngozi Roland Nonegonke. I'm the CEO of Sem Foods and Spices.
My name is Bayo Adewoye. I'm co-founder and CEO of Agrifood.
I am Shamaka Wakalo Egemba, also known as Chef Amaka, the queen of Afrofusion.
My success story cannot be complete without AFC. AFC is the way to go. If you're looking for the right network, if you're looking for the organization that will support you, both in capacity building, both in holding your hands.
The PRAISE program has really impacted us in a large way. In the way we work, we actually work with smallholder farmers, and a lot of them are in the rural area. They don't have this understanding. So what we've learned through the PRAISE program, we're now impacting it to the smallholder farmers that we're working with.
There are certain things that I got from the leading African women in food fellowship under the African Food Changemakers. And one of them is the mentorship programs. Indeed, I can't wait to show the world everything that I've learned.
Only AFC can give you that opportunity. Don't miss it.
Join us to be a part of our community and support our vision of 1 million successful and sustainable African agri-businesses recognized and respected globally. African Food Changemakers, nourishing Africa and changing global narratives. Partner with us today.
We need to support small and medium-sized agri-food enterprises by creating an enabling environment for them, providing training, catalytic financing, enabling them to scale. We also need to support women-owned businesses, especially those run by young women. We must collectively build a food ecosystem that works not just for us, but for future generations. Join us.
Now that you have learned about African Food Changemakers, let me tell you what we do within the African Food Changemakers community. If you have not joined, if you are not a member of the African Food Changemakers community, then you should pay attention so that you will know what you have been losing, what you have been missing all this while. And in the African Food Changemakers community, we share resources that will help you strengthen and scale your agribusiness. We are a digital hub, so we We don't have a physical community. We operate digitally, right? Our hub is home to resources, numerous resources that will help you strengthen and scale your agribusinesses. We prepare your businesses to enter new African and global markets. We facilitate access to funding, speaking, and exhibition opportunities. After now, I would share with you the many opportunities in the hub that you can take advantage of. So we look out for these opportunities out there and bring it to our community members to take advantage of them, to apply for those opportunities and soar in their businesses. We also foster access. We also give you access to a vibrant community of members from across Africa. Currently, we have over 6,800 members from across 48 countries here in Africa. So when you join this community, you have direct access to these agripreneurs doing great things in their own countries. You can do business together, you can plan projects together, you can, collaborate on different levels. So this is what the AFC community gives to our members. You enjoy free and unlimited access to the resource hub and the marketplace. So we have a marketplace where our members can post their products, can upload their products, just like you have on some other e-commerce platforms. You post your products and visitors on our website find your products and contact you directly for transactions to happen. So if you have not joined and you have just been selling your products in your own immediate community, then join the AFC community today so that you can expand your market reach. We also help you to enhance visibility of your business and promote media engagement of selected agribusinesses. We give you access to exclusive networking events. So there are a lot of networking events out there, and we connect our members to attend these events so that they can, meet new partners and customers. And very, very importantly, we foster global market linkages. Have you joined the AFC community? If you have not joined, then this should be enough reason for you to join us. And if you want to join us, if you believe that this place is for you, then pay attention to this process. First of all, for you to join the AFC community, you must have a business, a registered business. So that means you operate as a business owner. You own a business registered in line with the business regulation in your own country. So whatever regulation guides business operations within your country, you have to be registered to that to be eligible to join the AFC community. You must have been in existence for at least 6 months, and you should have social media presence. So LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, like we have it now. You should be on at least one of them. And very importantly, it would be lovely for you to have a website. So the essence of this is when we project you, people should be able to contact you, connect with you. And you know how connection is done these days. Majority of connection is done digitally, on the internet, on social media platforms, and you don't want to be left out. When you post your products on the marketplace, and we include your website or your Instagram page or whatever social media application you are active on, people are able to reach you directly. If you don't have this, it becomes a challenge. So it's important that you have this. And then when you're about to register, when you're about to take these steps, I will take us through now. Make sure you have your logo with you, your business logo handy. Make sure you have your personal, professional headshot with you, picture with you. Make sure you have the proof of registration, company registration with you, because these are the documents that you will upload when you are registering to join the AFC community. All you need to do is to go to www.afchub.org. My colleague is dropping the link on the chat right now. click on the Join the Community icon, and once you click on the Join the Community icon, it will lead you to a page that has different questions that you should answer. Please be patient. It won't take time. Answer those questions. It's important that we know the people that are joining the community. You answer the required questions about your business profile, and click submit at the end of the page. Don't forget to click submit. Before you click submit, you'll be required to create your password. It's that password that will give you access into the community, access into the hub, so that you can take advantage of the various resources within it. Once you are done, click submit. Once you submit, we'll receive your application and we verify you. We go to social media and check your business, check what you are doing, what you've been doing. And if we see that truly you are operating within the agribusiness industry in Africa, why not? We will immediately onboard you. So if you are still waiting, if you are still thinking it is time up, click on the link in the chat right now and join the AFC community today. While you are doing that, I want to take you through some of the opportunities within the hub at the moment. There are some opportunities within the hub at the moment. We just picked out a few for you so that you can go back there and view the rest of them. Currently, for funding, there is an opportunity, the Inclusive Action Awards 2025. The Inclusive Action Awards 2025. This award is global, and it's launched by the Inclusive Action Hub, a Value for Women initiative that celebrates and recognizes small and medium enterprises working to create more and better opportunities for women in engaging economies as entrepreneurs, employees, and consumers. So if you're a woman and you are interested in this opportunity, please don't sleep on this. Go to the www.afchub.org/funding. You see the link up down there. Go to that link immediately and take advantage of this opportunity. But that's not all. There are a lot of other funding opportunities in the hub that you should take advantage of. This opportunity is closing on the 10th of April 2025. Please don't miss this. Another opportunity is a capacity building opportunity by the African Women in Agricultural Research and Development. And this is closing 30th of April 2025. It is a fellowship. It's a fellowship and it's open to the Ghanaians, Kenyans, and Ugandans. So please, if you are from any of those countries, take advantage of this capacity building opportunity. There is more on the hub. Go to afc.org/capacity-building to see more capacity building opportunities in the hub. And then we have the events in Morocco, the GITES Africa 2025 holding in Morocco. The event date is 14th to 17th April 2025. And that's next week. So you should jump on it. If you're in Morocco, don't miss this. If you can go to, if you're not in Morocco, but you can go to Morocco, then you shouldn't miss it. Put this on your calendar, 14th to 17th April 2025. We have the training. We have a training greenhouse tomato farming, and it's free. Certificate is free. For more information on this, go to afchub.org/trainings to learn more about this opportunity. So you see, these are opportunities we provide for our members. They are out there, you may not know them. So we go out there, source for them, and bring them to the hub for people to take advantage of. Join the African Food Changemakers community today and take advantage of these opportunities. Now, to the essence of our gathering today. Our topic, like I mentioned earlier, enhancing value addition in agri-food products, a path to quality nutrition and food security in Africa. The theme speaks directly to one of the most pressing challenges facing our continent: how to sustainably harness Africa's rich agricultural resources to deliver nutritious, high-quality food products while boosting economic growth. Value addition is a game changer, offering opportunities to strengthen food systems, create jobs, and uplift communities. However, achieving this requires strategic investments, innovative solutions, and an enabling environment. We have the operations manager of Extension Africa to share insights, strategies, and success stories on how value addition can unlock Africa's potential in agri-food production and contribute to lasting food security. Nasir Darma is the operations manager, Extension Africa. He's an accomplished agronomist, agribusiness strategist, and climate-smart agriculture specialist with over a decade of experience in agricultural development. He has a strong track record of empowering smallholder farmers across various value chains, including maize, soybean, sorghum, rice, and vegetables. Passionate about sustainable agriculture and market-driven solutions, he focuses on improving farmer livelihoods through innovation, capacity building, and strategic partnerships. His expertise lies in promoting climate-smart practices and fostering resilient agribusiness ecosystems that drive long-term growth and impact. Please, if I were you, or I'm sure, I mean, if this for you to join, that means you have found this topic very interesting and very important. So just sit tight, remove anything that would distract you, mute your audio, very important, mute your audio, have your notepad and your pen, take notes, because there'll be opportunity for you to ask questions. Pay attention to what Nasir Darma has to share with us today. And I look forward to a very, very insightful session. Nasir, you have the floor.
Well, thank you very much, Mary, and very good afternoon to all. Sorry, before I begin, I think it's important that I have taken a note of while you are playing a video introducing what you do at AFC. So I want to call upon all of us that are in this meeting or on this webinar that it is upon us. It is upon us as Africans to tell our stories, right? To change the narrative, or we allow others to tell our stories the way they see fit. Oftentimes they tell our stories the way it serves them better, and in most cases it's not in our interest, we the Africans, right? Because as you can see, our pictures are being posted at metro stations, depicting the fact that we are hungry while we know we're not. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is up to us, all of us on this call, to tell our stories the way they are, the change the narrative out there, so that we tell our stories the way they are, change the narrative. So a very good afternoon once again. So I will be sharing my presentation, so that we can quickly, because I was told I will have only 20 minutes to make my presentation. So I will begin with, I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can.
Okay, thank you. So as you can see, the topic here is enhancing value addition in agri-food products, a pathway to quality nutrition and food security in Africa. As introduced, my name is Nasir Darma, and I am the head of operations for Extension Africa. So before I begin, it's important that we understood what is at stake here, and this topic, this theme for this discussion is timely, honestly, because one of the most pressing issues facing African agriculture is the fact that there is an exponential increase in our population, and also there is a decline in the arable land that is available out there. The fact that because of urbanization, industrialization, and other economic activities that are against the agricultural practices. So it's important that we look at how maximizing, increasing our efficiency and maximizing the use of what we already have, so that we can be able to feed the ever-growing population in Africa. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I begin, I want us to look at, to pay attention to these alarming statistics, right? It's going to paint a narrative, it's going to paint the picture, the actual picture of what is at stake, right? So if you look at these statistics, 3.5 trillion naira, that is Nigerian currency, is lost annually due to post-harvest losses. That is 5-year budget, Nigeria's agricultural budget, right? So that is just for Nigeria alone, 3.5 trillion naira, right? So to put it into context for those of us on this call that are not Nigerians, this is something that globally, it is known, for grains alone, it is known that about $60 billion is being lost for grains alone after being produced by the smallholder or by the farmers across the globe. So the loss as a result of poor post-harvest handling is accrued to reach around $60 billion US, right? And globally, across all agricultural products, the loss is staggering $936 billion, according to the FAO. This is a very recent statistics that is telling us that what is at stake. So how are we losing this? And for vegetables and fruits, 50 to 60% of whatever the volume, the quantity of vegetables that are produced globally are lost as a result of what? Poor post-harvest handling. 50 to 60%. This is quite staggering. This is quite alarming. So this is what we should pay attention to. So we should understand why we need to add value, why there is need for us to add value to what farmers are currently producing, especially having this platform is for entrepreneurs across African continent. So it's important for us to see this as an opportunity to help solve Africa's problem while benefiting from it from business point of view. So the challenge has always been, when you are in contact, when you are involved in agricultural ecosystem, you get to understand that the focus has always been on increasing the production, right? The national average, for instance, in Nigeria for most grains is 3 to 3.5 metric tons per hectare, right? So the focus has always been, how do we improve that? How do we increase the production, right? And nobody, or a little attention is being paid to how can we save? How can we salvage? How can we make sure that we reduce the post-harvest losses that we're incurring at the end of each harvesting season? So the point now, the narratives needs to change. The understanding, the idea needs to change as to why we should focus on that. So on my next slide, you can see I'm going to speak about why value addition matters, right? Because if you look at the statistics that we just presented, this calls for action. There is a very serious call for action. What can we do? Whatever we need to do, it has to be directed toward reducing these post-harvest losses. Because according to the other statistic I have here, 1/3 of all the food produced globally is lost or wasted annually, right? Which is a significant portion of this is lost as a result of what? Poor post-harvest handling, right? So there is an important need for us to look at ways to how do we salvage what we have, what farmers are already producing? How do we minimize these post-harvest losses? Because we cannot do away with post-harvest losses entirely, but there's need for us to significantly reduce the vulnerability the farmers face after they must harvested their commodities. So, number two, it is important, looking at the poverty level in African continent and globally as well, to increase the income of these farmers, because largely among the highest employment channels or sectors in Africa is agriculture. So how do we increase these farmers' income? We have to add value. if we by adding value is going to help us reduce the staggering 3.5 trillion naira in Nigeria alone. We're going to reduce that, and this money, after reducing it, we are putting it back into the farmer's pocket. So it's important that we look at that, and also this is why value addition really matters. So looking at also the unemployment rate in Africa, right? In America, in other developed countries, you will see their unemployment rate as 3.5 as 3.5 million, 3.3 to 4%, right? While in Nigeria, you will see it as is in and other African countries, you see it as a staggering double digit numbers. So it's important that we do this. While by value addition, we can definitely reduce this unemployment rate, especially among women and youth. Now, it's going to also help in strengthening the nation's economy. Imagine now, taking Nigeria as a case study. Imagine a situation whereby this 3.5 trillion naira is being put back into the economy. Definitely, this figure is going to strengthen the country's economy. So these are some of the reasons, not all of the reasons, but these are some of the reasons why value addition really matters. So let us understand what are the opportunities within this value addition, right? So in agriculture, as we all are aware, the value chain is very long, right? Looking at, okay, from the input perspective to the smallholder farmer, that is the input manufacturers, to smallholder farmers, that is the primary producers, to those that are doing the post-harvest producers, so all the entrepreneurs that add value to what the farmers have produced. So looking at all of this, and at each junction within the agricultural value chain, there is an entrepreneurial opportunity. There is a business opportunity there from which each and every one of us on this call or beyond this call can be able to tap from and create a business that will thrive within the African continent. So how do we understand? What is our understanding of the value addition in agriculture? There are those that process, we call them agro processors. They just process, they brand, and they package, and they take it to the market. So there are those that also, before getting this thing, the raw materials to this agro processor, they grade the salt, because they have to, meet the processor's specification. So looking at that, there are some that are grade and sorting. There are some that are into just the storage. There are those that are into marketing. So all of these are opportunities within which entrepreneurs in agricultural Africa's agricultural landscape can benefit from and help put more money into the economy and also salvage the staggering statistics that we've just presented. So it's important that looking at this we can venture into processing, we can venture into creating branding materials, we can venture into producing packaging materials, we can venture into providing warehouse services, a cold chain transportation, something that will help in transporting vegetables, and we can also provide a platform upon which all these agripreneurs can now come and market and sell whatever they produce. So it's important that we understood what the opportunities within the value addition in agriculture. So what is the connection? What is the link between value addition and food security? Right? We know that, right? And there's this serious decline in the arable land that is available for agricultural production. So how can we solve that? Like I said, we are focusing on only improving the productivity, right? While if we focus on salvaging the 1/3 of what we currently produce, bringing it back into the food chain, I believe that is something that will provide us some cushion as to food security. So if we do look at that, it's definitely going to help us greatly. Now, so the number one on my list, improve access to nutritious food, right? Processing help preserve nutrient and extend availability, right? Let's take perishable commodities, for instance, something like tomato, something like fruit, other fruit. Imagine a situation whereby we can extend the shelf life of tomato to go beyond just the 30 days that is available out there, because even the improved varieties can only last for 21. That will help us shape that, something that will help us improve that, right? So that is going to help us preserve the nutrients that are available there and also extend its availability, because we know that for vegetables and other fruits, there are times for a basket of tomato, for instance, can go for as low as $5 in Africa. And there is a time when it is a lean period for that commodity, the price will reach us up to 30 to $40 per basket, 575 kg basket of those products. So imagine if we can spread, if you can extend the availability so that we can have an even price, right? So imagine that. I'll also reduce dependence on importation. In this time when our tomatoes, when the fruit and vegetables are not available in our market, definitely the alternative for African economy is to import. And for every import, then it has an adverse effect on the Africa's economy. So if we can do this, then definitely that is going to reduce our dependence on import, which in the long run is going to lead to the economic stability of the continent. So it is important that we factor with the central value chain, and whatever we do within the value addition is so in the African and also the economic stability in the continent. So what are the challenges faced by agripreneurs that are into the value addition in agriculture in Africa? So number one, the limited infrastructure. Most times, value addition is done by smallholder farmers, right? Even the development partners, you usually see them equipping farmer cooperatives to venture into value addition. And there is a very serious limit to what these farmers can do within the value additions, because it requires other infrastructure, it requires technology to serve as an enabler to help them preserve, extend the shelf life, and to provide other means of transportation. So this is a very serious challenge. There is no much investment in that sector because it is a sector that there are no large cooperatives that are investing into. Now, inconsistent supply chain and storage facilities. Smallholder farmers struggle to consistently produce value-added products due to insufficient financial resources and inadequate facilities to support efficient and continuous production, right? So also high cost of this processing equipment. It is beyond the reach of small businesses to do with something that is calling for a serious investment and backward integration, something that will facilitate and enhance the sector so that it can now be boosted. It can have the idea, it can serve as an eye opener for potential investors to come and invest into the sector. Now, market access and awareness.
But
Poor market access and low
my
consumer
apologies, Nasir. So sorry, Nasir. It seems like your slides are not moving.
Okay, so because
Yes,
of
so
the presentation mode, I put my slide.
okay.
Can you see can you see my slide now? Is it changing?
It's not changing really. But okay, it has changed now. It's changed now.
Okay.
Okay.
So are you seeing the challenges in value addition for African agri-food products?
We're here now.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
So as I was saying, The fourth challenge, one of the most alarming challenges the agripreneurs are facing in terms of value addition in Africa is the market access and the consumer awareness, right? We Africans, we have the tendency of picking a foreign product over what is locally produced, right? So this narrative has to change. We have to buy what is African so that we can encourage the businesses within Africa, so that in a turn we can create more jobs and we have a stable economy, and also save the industry, the food system in the continent. So it's important that we look at it in this perspective. Right? So these are some of the major challenges that are facing the agropreneurs that ventured into value addition in African agri-food products. Right? So the next thing for us is, okay, we've seen the problem, we've seen the potential within the continent, within the value addition, among other things. Then what can we do? Right? What should we do differently? What are our strategies? Right? So the strategies for us here is to look at things that will enhance the value addition in Africa. There is little or no. Number one is investment in agro-processing infrastructure. Right? So this investment does not only require an individual investment. It has to be from policy point of view. What is the government? What are the politicians doing? The policymakers, what are they doing? How do they attract more investment within the agro-processing industry? As we are attracting investment in the primary production, then we should be able to attract investment in the post-harvest industry, in the post-harvest agricultural industry, right? So it's very, very important we look at this and provide, I hope, probably an agro-processing hub across all major cities in the continent, so that we can solve our problem ourselves. Then we can also provide employment opportunities within the continent. Now, then training and capacity building for everybody that is involved, all the stakeholders, the rural stakeholders, the middlemen, the value entrepreneurs, everybody should know and understand the roles that they are required to play within the value chain, so that we understand that there is no disconnect between the agricultural value chain, right? This is very, very important that we understand this, and this is very, very important that we put it into context and implement it the way it should be implemented. Now, strengthening policies that support agribusiness growth, right? Yeah, there are policies in Africa that promote input manufacturing. There are policies that support the smallholder farmers, the primary production of these commodities. Then what next after that? Right? That is why it's important for us to have an end-to-end market approach, a seed-to-market approach, right? Whereby starting from the seed manufacturing down to when these values are added to this agricultural product, and down to how these products are going to be marketed across the African globe. And it's very, very important that we have a free trade zone across the African continent, because what is available in Nigeria, what the entrepreneurs are producing in Nigeria, might not necessarily be available in Ghana, may not necessarily be available in Kenya. So there is need for us to have this free trade zone so that it can expand our reach. The entrepreneurs can now be able to explore foreign markets, so that we can have more sales and we can generate more revenue. And that will entice these entrepreneurs to invest more and to venture more into this value addition. So also, that is why I'm speaking about the policy from the policy perspective. Now, we have to encourage public-private partnership in an event for aspiring entrepreneurs to have the backing of a public sector, to have the security, the assurance. Let me cite an example here by the NICEL program. That is, agricultural entrepreneurs benefited from that because they knew that they have some de-risking, they have some policy that is backing their investment. In an event of loss due to instability within the sector, these entrepreneurs will have something to fall back to. in some cases, up to 75% of their investment are going to be recouped when they are exposed to this, when they are exposed to disasters or when they are exposed to losing some part of their capital. So it's important that we have this partnership in such a way that entrepreneurs will have the courage to approach the market squarely and be able to invest. So quickly, let's look at some of these case studies of value addition in African continent. I wish I can give us more than this because we have them more in Africa. But let me just take a look at it from this perspective. Look at the tomato processing into paste to reduce seasonal glut in Nigeria. We have some companies in Nigeria that are into that, try as much as possible to reduce seasonal glut in the tomato value chain. Why am I citing tomato as an example? Because tomato is an area. Nigeria is second largest producer of tomato in Africa. We produce about 3.6 million metric tons annually. But it will interest you to know that 40 to 60% of this production is lost post-harvest, after this crop must have been produced, right? So this tomato processing in Nigeria, it has become so necessary that we have to do this in order for us to save the investment from these smallholder farmers. And it's an opportunity for entrepreneurs to venture into this. We can process this into paste, we can process this into puree, we can process this into so many byproducts. At the end of the day, is something that is going to save the investment of the smaller farmer, and is something that will going to put money back into the farmer's pocket, right? Like looking at Kenya now, the dairy value chain improving milk processing, right? Usually without this thing, without milk processing businesses, the herdsmen usually lose. They can only take the raw milk into the open market. As a result of, they can only sell what the market is willing to absorb, right? So in a situation whereby this dairy processing in Kenya is important because it's helping these farmers to set up businesses that they can save and supply the processors timely, so that it will save their investment. On this milk processing, I'm going to cite us an example with one cooperative in India, where the entrepreneurs in the community identified that farmers are losing their investment in like 60 to 70% of the investment from the dairy farmers is being lost because they don't have access to the urban market due to the distance. For somebody who has been to India or read about India, you know the distance between these local communities and the main cities. So it is important for the entrepreneurs set up a cooperative whereby they provide themselves with an avenue where these farmers are now going there to deposit their milk after they must have collected the milk in the morning, deposit it in a milk bank within their community, and this milk will now going to be supplied to the dairy companies in the city, while this farmers' investment and this farmers' money is being given back to them in due time. So it's very, very important that we do similar things in Africa, especially since on this platform we have a lot of entrepreneurs that can venture into that. Now, another example is the cocoa processing industry boosting local chocolate production in Ghana, right? So if you look at it, it's an avenue that we can do to invest more in African continent, and also by adding value. So what is the way forward? For me, the way forward is public-private synergy, right? The synergy between the entrepreneurs and the government. The entrepreneurs are bringing onto the table the desire, the willingness to take risks and invest into the value addition sector in Africa, while the government come in and provide the policies and also the level playing ground, so that it can provide also a cushion in ensuring that the investment put forward by these entrepreneurs is not lost, right? Also, consumers also need to play a role here by supporting what is locally processed product, what is African, what we produce in the African continent, not just looking at what is coming from afar Europe or America, right? So we have to start looking inward. We'll be buying from the African market. This will boost this sector, and I believe in Africa we have a huge potential because we have a population of, I believe, around 1 billion people, or if not more. So this is a very huge market that entrepreneurs can venture into. So the major takeaways for me as a result of this in value addition enhances nutrition, income and economic stability in the continent because it increases the shelf life of the farm product. And also post-harvest losses remain a major challenge in African continent because it's cost the industry actors at least 3.5 trillion naira in Nigeria annually. Also value addition, yes. So the conclusively, because I'm still looking at time, because I know I was told about the time I have. So conclusively, Africa's food security is not just about growing more, it's about making the most of what we grow. By investing in value addition, we turn waste into wealth, right? And that is that should be the enticing, that should be the value proposition for entrepreneurs, right? We are turning waste into wealth, our raw crops into opportunity, and food security into reality. So thank you very much for listening. I will be happy to respond to some of the questions that we may have. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Nasir. That was really, really insightful. I'm very sure that a lot of our participants here have questions for you. So if you have questions for Nasir, it's time for the question and answer. Quickly, if you have questions for Nasir, just raise your hand up. I will see you when your hand come up. Raise your hand up. If you don't want to speak, then you can write it in the chat. I'll read it out for you, and Nasir will be available to answer your questions. So the first hand up is Gertrude Basorun. Yes, you can unmute and speak now. Gertrude, you can unmute and speak now, please. You're still muted. Please unmute. Okay, if Gertrude is not ready for us, then Mitchell Chukudi, unmute and ask your question. Team members on the call, please enable Mitchell to unmute. Gertrude, Mitchell, please enable the participants with their hands up to unmute, please.
Hello.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Gertrude. Okay, Gertrude is back or is on. Mitchell, just a
Yes,
second. Gertrude, you have
good afternoon. It was not allowing me to unmute.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the session. I'm glad that we are throwing, our weight behind the crucial need for us to focus a lot of attention on value addition. But I have one concern. I'm actually in that space currently. I've been there for over 15 years. And by the grace of God, we are into different aspects of, the value chain of grains, seasonings and condiments and snacks. But I have one concern, especially in the Nigerian environment, where regulatory requirements tend to inhibit growth and entry into that into the value addition space. What do I mean? We have a multiplicity of regulatory bodies, such that, yes, people are going into that space, but they are not able to meet up with those requirements, and so the businesses are more or less stifled. Innovation is stifled because when you consider the fact that, oh, I have to meet these requirements, the other requirements, and all of that. So I don't know if you have any thoughts that you can share on how this area can be handled, can be navigated. Thank you so much.
And Nasir,
Okay, I should respond, right?
have everybody answer, or you would respond one after the other? Which one would you prefer?
Well, let me respond. Let me respond to
Great.
this.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the question. I think it's a very valid question, especially considering that has always been some of the bottlenecks the entrepreneurs within the value chain sector are facing, right? The multi-regulatory agencies, and each with a peculiar requirement, and also among other things, right? Because we know we have multiple taxation as well, especially in Nigeria. So one of the things that we did while at some point some years back was to approach these regulatory agencies. We've written to them. We also seek for the audience. We discuss issues like this, right, so that we can make sure that we can see if we can create synergy between these regulatory agencies, so that we can have a one-serve-all regulatory requirement. So up to years, we have agreed on so many things with them, but the implementation is what has not happened, honestly. So the only thing that I would suggest we do as business owners is to pull our heads together, right? Come up with a very strong alliance between the entrepreneurs within the space, and also approach some of our politicians to approach it from policy point of view. Then it has to change at the National Assembly, in order for things to work for us, because there is nothing much we can do at the moment but I believe approaching it from multiple points, like from the organization point of view, and also from politicians' point of view, from policy point of view, is something that I know is not going to happen immediately, but it's something that we can do it. That's something that will definitely eventually going to happen. Yes, thank you.
Mitchell, please unmute. Team members, help Mitchell out, please, to unmute. Mitchell, your hand is no longer up, so I think that's why we can't find you. Sheyi, Oluwaseyi Akonji, unmute, please.
Hello, good evening, ma.
Hello, good evening. Please ask your question, but please let your question be straight to the point, please. As much as possible. Keep background. Don't give background. Just ask your question, please.
Okay. So my question is, this value chain, I actually have interest in it for long, even this tomato, and especially the tomato powder. But the issue I noticed is the machines used for these things are very expensive. That not everybody can afford it. 500,000, 800, and like that. So I don't know, is there a way AFC can provide a central place where this equipment will be available, and then people can bring their products to dry? Then the issue of NAFDAC chain. At the end of the day, when you decide to produce something like tomato powder, to approve it by NAFDAC also is another thing entirely. Very, very expensive. Is there a way they can help assist us also, so that it will be easy for NAFDAC to approve our products? Because if to register a product in NAFDAC, you need up to like 350 or 400,000. Sorry, my baby is. So I don't know. Is there a way they can also help us so that these things will be affordable for everyone? That's my question.
Okay, thank you very much, Shay. Are you an AFC community member? Shay? Okay, well, I can't hear you again. If you are a community member, you can actually collaborate with fellow members within the community. We have members who provide these services. Okay, all you need to do is to become a bit more active. If you're on the WhatsApp community, you can engage there, and you would actually find people who are into that. You can ask questions, and all of that, and you will find people that do that. On the NAFDAC, it's something that is in the pipeline. We're working on that. Don't know how. We are hoping that we'll have something to announce before the end of the year. But for now, take advantage of the access you have to other members that provide these other services. I'm very sure that would help you. Thank you. Samuel, please unmute and ask your question quickly.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mr. Nasir Darma. Thank you for your presentation. You really give me an insight to what I've been planning to carry out in my own locality. Talking about where I based, Benue State, we have just like you said, post-harvest. To have added advantage to post-harvest. In Benue State here, we have an interior village, rural areas, where we have these post-harvest issues that they don't have any mechanized way or proper way to be able to handle it so that they can be able to transfer to the urban areas where they have larger buyers. So an issue of having bad roads always prevent something like that. So I want to ask, what is the most safest way, because they don't have the money to buy those machines, what is the simple way that we can be able to take care of this post-harvest or store or preserve it so that we can be able to overcome the risk of bad roads so that we can take it to the urban area, we can be able to sell, because that is the main problems that we are having now in the rural area. The roads are bad and the governments are not looking into that. And we want to also add value to that produce. And we cannot because we don't have the techniques or the machines to be able to afford. And even though you have machine, there is no light around there to power it or have a solar panel to be able to go on with it. What are other simple ways? There are other simple ways that we can be able to go about it. Please, I want to know so that we can be able to teach them and also show to people other means so that we can have access to this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think what I see from your question is two things, right? We're calling for entrepreneurship, especially in the value chain and the value addition, right? For where normal people see problem, entrepreneurs see opportunity, right? So you have, from your question, I understood that you have a pool of farmers that are experiencing post-harvest losses, right? And in a remote area that lack good access road. Right. So for me, this is an opportunity as an intending entrepreneur. Why? Because this is an opportunity where you can provide services to these farmers. You add value to what they produce while you earn a living through that. Also, increasing the shelf life of the produce, whatever they produce there. So I'm going to help cite you an example with a simpler way of preserving or increasing the shelf life of perishable commodities. Right, for vegetables and fruit, you can construct what is locally available, what you can do locally available. We call it zero energy cooling chamber. It's a chamber, it's a mud you create a chamber, you construct rather a chamber using mud bricks, right? Which I know they are available in large quantities in Benue State, mud bricks, right? So you can, I believe when you go on YouTube, you search for a video on how to construct zero energy cooling chamber. You can see a step-by-step process of doing that. By doing this, you can increase the shelf life of whatever vegetable or fruit by a minimum of 21 days, that is 3 weeks, as to until when you find a better way of transporting your produce or your commodity into the market. All right. So there are ways that way you can do it. This is just an example. You can open up your mind to look at areas where you can come up with ideas where you can make it, you can support your community while earning a living through that. So that is an entrepreneurial mindset. So you need to have that, and also you need to identify the gap, in capacity that you require, so that you can provide them with that. So this platform will not allow me to provide you with the necessary capacity document or material or something, the training that you may require to be able to provide these things with your to your people. But I believe with the right if you go on YouTube, you can begin with the zero energy cooling chambers, and then from there you can build on and getting ideas on how to solve your people's problem. I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Nasir. Next on the line, I think we'll just have, I can see like 1, 2, 3, 4 more persons. Okay, let's go. We won't go beyond this for Godwin. Keep your questions precise, no background, just go straight to the point, please, just to save time. Godwin, unmute and ask your question.
Hello, thank you for calling me. In fact, when you were talking, I almost said maybe I should be the next. My name is Godwin. Thank you for the simple question. Is I'm presently thinking about business where I'm include e-commerce and hard grocery sales along with my business, which God help me. I've gotten a grant, not in monetary term, but for a company to build a full-fledged e-commerce for me. Get clear. When you were doing this
Emmanuel,
presentation,
we're struggling to hear you. Your line keeps breaking. Can you take your question again, please?
Okay,
So
I said
to
get clear. Can you hear me now? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but I hope it doesn't go. I can hear you now.
Okay, the simple question, I've said a lot, but the simple question I want to get clear is that as simple, since I'm planning to go into e-commerce, where I will have e-commerce for groceries and food stuff, as simple as making those products like grains, food product cleaner and saver, can one say is a value addition? That's number one. Number two is that most times the traditional way that these grains and food products are being preserved, the local ways, they are not hygienic, they are not healthy. Is that a best way of doing it based on the expertise of Mr. Nasir? I would like to hear from you. They will use kerosene, sometimes they will use chemicals. I mean, they'll use what they call, some people even tell me they use otapia. I don't know how true that is. So I want to get his own view. And then these are just the two questions. Thank you.
Okay, Nasir.
Thank you very much. I think I struggled to hear the first question. So, but let me explain to you what value addition is, right? Value addition is anything that after, for instance, now anything you do after the produce must have been produced to add value, to add quality to that product or rather commodity or produce. That is what is value addition. For instance, now we know that after a paddy must have been produced, that is rice, for it to be milled, that is the processing, right? So that processing is value addition. So the farmer will not get money for rice. He can only get value for paddy he produces, right? So for farmer, then the processor will now get value for the processing of converting the paddy into rice. That is value addition. For example, now converting flour into bread, that is value addition, right? So that in a nutshell, that's what is an example of value addition. So the second question you raised was concerning the using the unhygienic way of adding value. Preservation preservation is one thing, value addition is another, though there are some connection somewhere in some cases, right? So there is an hygienic way of doing it. That is why we are looking at it from a business point of view, right? From a business point of view. And from a business point of view, that is why we have regulatory authorities to understand the processes of the processes of adding value to what your product. So in doing so, that has to be understood. That has to be something that is agreed. So that has to be something that has to be believed to be hygienic and to be believed to be safe for consumption, right? So the use of chemicals in preserving this thing is really not a value addition. So it's not will not be considered as such. But the promotion of value addition is usually in a way and manner that is identified and recognized to be a safe way of adding value to a product, to agri product. So this is just what I have for you. Thank you. There are ways you can explore. There are ways you can search around, depending on what value the product that you want to add value to. For instance, now you can convert tomato fruit into tomato powder. You can convert tomato. You can convert mango into mango juice. That is all. These are all value addition, and there are safe ways of doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Nasir. Mitchell, are you ready for us? Unmute and ask your question, Mitchell.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Berry and Mr. Nasir. It's quite very an amazing time hanging out with you today. My name is Mitchell. I'm the CEO of Food Enterprise Limited currently in Akwa Ibom State. You mentioned something about government, and based on my research, most of the private companies we have, both internationally and locally, they don't work with government because of their policy. And seriously, the policy of government ends up killing a lot of agricultural startups based on my own research. Why? Because most of them feel like the money is what makes the business work. So based on your own research, what has been able to work between the government and the private sector in terms of value addition in the agricultural sector, from your own point of view? What has been able to work between the government of the people? Because the government has a very strong role to play in value addition. Seriously, you mentioned about building clusters of industrial layouts for different industrial processes for agricultural sector. So based on your own point of view, from where you come from, what do you think we can implement here from where I come from in Akwa Ibom State that could be able to give a watering ground for the government to just enter and accept the process and follow the steps? Because it's going to really help agricultural startups all over Nigeria to become much more sustainable and grow. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, I know we're facing some challenges with the government, most of which it has to do with how in Nigeria, I know we're still implementing, we're still using the policies that were put in place in the 1960s. We're still using some of them in Nigeria, which is a problem, right? But one thing I would like us to understand is that if you are operating without government, in most cases in businesses, you will be operating in silos. And there are particular areas where you have a cap as to where you can reach without the government, because you need from the government the policy and regulations to ensure that your business is protected, right? Because it's important that you have that, and also it's important that government provide a level playing ground for all actors, especially in businesses. So I'm going to cite you an example with what happened in Jigawa State. At some point when there are some aspiring youths that were investing into hibiscus flower in Jigawa State, and also they were exporting it outside the country. The value they add to hibiscus flower after of taking it from the smallholder farmers is to dry it and also to package it to the international market standard, right? But at some point, these products were being rejected by the international market. Why? Because of the use of insecticide, the chemical to control insect infestation, and also some fungicide for diseases, right? So definitely the business ecosystem could not stop farmers from using this chemical, could not stop farmers from, or could not stop the market from selling these chemicals to hibiscus farmers, right? So definitely the need for government to come in with regulation to establish that these social products have been banned. So at some point at the Jigawa State government level, that was done, and then those group of entrepreneurs are still pushing to make it a national policy, right, against the use of this thing, while providing an alternative so that the government will see that okay, there is an alternative that will protect also the farmers from from losing their investment as a result of insect infestation. So all of these are things that you require government to come in and regulate. So another thing that I can cite an example with also is the de-risking program, the Nasir de-risking program, because I have known a number of companies that have benefited from that, where you invest, you need government to say, okay, government, this is area that where it has potentials of solving problem, creating employment, increasing the revenue for the state and local government and the country in general. So, but we need to make this investment, but we need some protection from the government for our investment. No, in another word, okay, this area needs serious investment. I, as an entrepreneur, I do not have the money to invest 100%, right? And the banking, the commercial banks are not willing to rather lend this money to these entrepreneurs. Then there should be a policy from the government instructing these commercial banks to be lending so percentage of their deposit to social business owners, right? This will encourage investment into this sector. So what I mean by government, definitely we have to have government in our business for policy and regulation, something that will provide a favorable environment for our businesses to thrive. That is what I said by, that is what I meant by we have to have these public-private partnerships between the entrepreneurs and the government. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nasir. One last question before we go from Ismail. Please, short, precise, no background, just ask a question and we'll proceed. Ismail, please unmute. Looks like Ismail is not ready for us. I have a few questions from I have one question from the chat. What is the essence of climate smart technologies in agriculture? Okay, I don't know if you understand that question. It seems vague to me, but I don't know if you could just help us to.
Yeah. Thank you very much for this. I think it's important. I've seen the question in the chat, but but it's important we understand what climate smart agricultural practices are, right? So I know everybody is aware of. There was a time we started talking about global warming, right? The global warming is a situation whereby we are extracting a lot of carbon emission, or there is this serious carbon emission from human activities, from our industrialization, from fossil fuel that we burn with our cars, generators in our houses, among other things, right? And these things are now being trapped in the atmosphere, and that is what causes global warming. And in addition to that, also this global warming led to what the climate change, where that is why today we are experiencing unstable weather conditions. Today, I can tell you, I think on Saturday in Kano, the temperature was 41 degrees, right? It was that hot in Kano. And then today, as I can see, I can tell you it is around 36 degrees. So the weather is not stable, right? And then you have too much rainfall, and you have a cessation of rainfall in some cases, which affect agricultural production. So the essence of why. So how do we solve this problem? Reduce the emission of this carbon greenhouse gases into the atmosphere is the reason why we are adopting or rather promoting climate smart agricultural practices. These are practices that are environmentally friendly, right? They reduce this carbon emission. We know agriculture, especially rice production, is contribute to this greenhouse gases emission. So how do we do? How do we minimize greenhouse gas emission from rice production? How do we reduce the use of synthetic fertilizers? How do we reduce the use of synthetic chemicals in controlling pests and diseases? So this is the essence. The essence is to save the environment. The essence is to have a very moderate temperature, not too hot, not too cold. This is the essence of climate smart agricultural practices. This is why we are practicing it. This is why we are promoting it. So I believe this is not a session for that. I think I can speak better. I can speak on this thing for hours, but I believe this is not a session for it. And then maybe you can follow me on LinkedIn, because I know I speak a lot about climate smart agriculture on LinkedIn. So if you can follow me there, I believe you can learn something on climate smart agricultural practices. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Nasir. I'm really, 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 really grateful for having you, take your time to do this for us. Thank you. And I'm very sure everybody on the call, this meeting is grateful. If you learned from today's session, if you appreciate Nasir, put it on the chat box. Let us know how many people are grateful for today's session. Give Nasir a thumbs up. Tell him well done. Thank you. We would like to know those that have actually followed through today's session and appreciate Nasir. Nasir, before we go, there's something we always do. We take a group photograph. So we'll take a group photograph now, and we'll have everybody turn on their videos, their camera, so that your faces will show. So turn on your camera, give us the best smile that you have, and our team members will take a picture of that. You can take a picture of on your end as well and post on social media and tag us. We'll share it. So we'll take a picture. Everybody should turn on their videos, their cameras, and take a picture. Team member, you have the floor. Please take us a picture. Everybody's video should be on. Mitchell, your video is still off. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so thank you very much, Nasir, for your time with us today. I'm trusting that when we call you again next time, you will answer us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
All right, great. Thank you. Okay, so moving on, we usually do a quiz after every session just to test our knowledge. So I'll call on Nosa Obano, Membership Officer, to facilitate this session. Nosa, over to you.
Thank you, Ebere. Can you confirm that you can hear me?
I can hear you, but we need to speak louder.
Okay. And also, is my screen up?
Yes, your screen is up.
All right, thank you. So thank you so much, Nasir, for that wonderful presentation. And as usual, to our participants on the call, we always have a quick fun time, which is to test our knowledge. Testing our knowledge might be about African food chain makers or about the subject matter of discussion. And for today, we are going to test our knowledge on the subject matter of value addition. And to do that, we are going to play a short quiz. I will launch it from my hand, and once you can confirm to join the quiz, then please click on the link and participate. So it's coming up. Let me know if we have participants joining. You can also scan the QR code. Yeah, I've seen 2 participants join. Once we have a substantial amount of participants, then we can start the quiz. Team members, please confirm that I can see this quiz from your end as well, because it's just 2 participants that I've seen. Okay. Yeah, we have Maureen. Okay, yes, more members are joining. And for our last winner, I got an information that you did not respond to the email. So please, for winners on the call, always try and follow up with our communications team. We are eager to spotlight every winner. And for this week, let us see what the prize is for the winner for today. Once we have up to 20 participants, then we can start rolling out the questions. It's just to test knowledge of value addition. Our speaker has said a lot of information, has given us insights on how we can add value to our business products. And so it's just to have a scenario-based question and answer, and let our members participate as well. So I have 24 participants. Let's open it up to 30, then we start. Let me know when, if you believe you can win this quiz, you can put it in the chat box so we can see our potential winners already. One more participant and we are good to go. 29, 30. So let's start the quiz. So you have 30 seconds for each question. They are all scenario-based questions that highlight what the speaker has emphasized on today. Okay. And note that the faster you vote, the higher you become, the higher the chances of you becoming the winner. So the first question, 95% answered correctly. Okay, good to know that Maureen is topping the charts. Let's go to the next question. 30 seconds to go. Let's see if Maureen can hold on to her lead. Who is going to be my potential winner for today? Okay. Oh, Maureen has dropped. So we have Jesu Tola as the new leader. Let's see. Next question. This is to test our knowledge on the topic that we just listened to. Okay. 9 seconds to go. If you're also using your phone, you can actually participate. So whatever system you're using, your phone or your laptop, it's open to you to participate. Okay, just to maintain that position. Next question. Just 5 questions. Number 4, then 5, and we are good to go. Wow, Jesu Tola, you are doing well. Final question for the day before we get our winner. 21 seconds, 19 seconds, 17. Thank you so much. And for this week, our winner goes to Jesu Tola, followed by Kuye. So Jesu Tola won with 1 minute 23 seconds. And if you're on the call, please kindly unmute and do a shout out to the whole team. Thank you for winning this session's quiz. Thank you for participating all. Our winner is Jesu Tola for this week. Kindly confirm that you can hear me.
Is Jesu Tola on the call?
So Jesu Tola, are you on the call?
Can you mute? Oh, she's saying thank you already. Would you want to speak? I think she may be struggling to unmute. You're muted, you're muted.
Okay, I was asking if she can raise her thumb up or raise her hand so I can unmute her. I'm finding it difficult to searching for her.
I think to save time, she has acknowledged here. So just tell us what her
Okay,
winnings
thank you
are.
very
Okay, she's
much.
on.
Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the AFC team. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Unmute, please. Unmute, please.
Apologies. So can you hear me now? So thank you so much,
Yes.
Jesu Tola. So your reward for participating and winning in this week or this month's First Thursday quiz is that you get a chance to engage with our communications team on how they will review your websites. So your social media websites will be reviewed by our communications team to let you know what you need to do or update or what you need to improve on. So you have like a 30 to 1 hour review session with our social media team, our web communications team. They'll reach out to you. You can indicate or share your email with the team or any of the admins in the WhatsApp group or send an email to the membership team and we will follow up with you as well. So thank you for winning this month's First Thursday, and we look forward to having more participations in the next edition. Thank you, and over to you, Ebere.
Congratulations, Jesu Tola. You know how much you'll be paying a social media consultant to do this for you. But because you won today's quiz, you have this on a platter of gold. Don't take for granted this opportunity. Reach out to us immediately so that we can arrange a session with you to review your social media handles. For next steps, For next steps, as AFC, there are lots of activities we have for you as usual, and you see them displayed on your screen. So we have the agri funding like we always do every month. This month is, next month. This month, April, yes, this month, April 24th, we'll be speaking on we'll be teaching you how you can attract venture capital for your business. So there's a difference between attracting grants and attracting investors. You will come and learn what investors look out for. Everybody has been sending us emails in AFC. I need funding, I need investor, I need funding, I need investor. But when you are asked for your books, you are asked about your business, there are a lot of questions you can't answer. So join the Agri Funding Workshop this month, April 24th, so that you can learn from Deji Adebusoye himself, a partner in Sahel Capital. Of course, you know what Sahel Capital does. So you don't want to miss it. Put it on your calendar. April 27th, 2025. We'll share the link with everybody and invite you to register. Don't miss it. We have also the experience sharing. Those of us that are on WhatsApp, we do that bi-weekly. You join the knowledge sharing group on WhatsApp and participate. We also have the marketplace, members marketplace, for those of you that are members and have not been using the marketplace. I don't know how you've been showing your product out there. You don't want to go out of your environment. Put your products on the online marketplace and expose yourself to a wider reach. Not just people in your country, but people from across the world that visit the AFC platform. Don't miss this opportunity. We give all of these opportunities on a platter of gold. It shouldn't be taken for granted. Enjoy it. Use it to build your business. So next steps for you, register for these upcoming events. Showcase your products on the hub. Refer an agripreneur to join our hub. Don't enjoy this alone. Refer somebody to join the African Food Changemakers. One more thing, very, very important. The Building Resilience Against Climate and Environmental Shocks program is coming up again. The next batch, we are rounding up the last batch, the first batch, batch A for this cohort. And we are going into the next batch. Don't miss this opportunity. Go on, my team member will drop the application link for you now. Somebody asked questions about climate smart principles. You don't want to miss this opportunity. Join now. My team member will drop the link. brace.afchub.org/application. Go and register. The deadline for registration is May 11th, 2025. So join. This is a 6 weeks training program, self-paced, online, and you get your certificates and you can use it for whatever opportunity that is out there. And finally, and very importantly, connect with other change makers. You can't belong to a community like ours and not connect with other people. You can't afford to work in silos. Connect with other people, other agri-businesses, connect with other agripreneurs, do projects together, explore opportunities together, and scale together. Finally, we have our social media handles. Please, as much as possible, go to our social media handles so that you don't miss opportunities that we share, information, insights now and then. Go to our social media handles and take advantage of them. Like, comment, and share African Food Changemakers social media posts with your fellow entrepreneurs. Engage in membership, monthly knowledge, and experience sharing sessions like I have mentioned earlier. Utilize the AFC marketplace and upload your products. Join the Facebook, Telegram, WhatsApp, and LinkedIn groups. Stay connected through the AFC membership community. Engage with other entrepreneurs using your membership dashboard. The membership dashboard is like a LinkedIn. You can go there and engage with other people posting there. You can post, make comments on other people's posts, like other people's posts, share posts, just engage. And you can also share your projects, the projects that you are doing, the impact you're making, that you want to tell your story. You can do that on your membership dashboard. Share your feedback with us to keep us updated on ways we can serve you better. And finally, share the goodness of African Food Changemakers with your colleagues. These are our social media handles on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Just search for African Food Changemakers. You'll find us. On X or Twitter is at _AFC Hub. You can connect with us on any of these social media handles. Thank you very, very, very much for attending. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Enjoy the rest of your day.